Hey guys and gals, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. Uh, on my way to the airport. This is typical for me. Uh, I'm like I was talking about uh, before. I'm early riser, always have been my whole life, and so as a result, I wake up before everybody, and I usually eat before everybody, and so now my family is inside getting their breakfast, and so it was a good opportunity for me to go ahead and do a live stream here. So I'm in Los Angeles, going to be catching a flight here shortly, just going to return the rent-a-car and that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about just what I've always done, and because that's what I can share is what I know, and that is work hard, save, and dream big. And it's always good to dream big, because there's really, things can happen so quickly as you invest, and the harder you work, the more problems you'll encounter and the more problems you'll overcome, which will lead to better ways of doing things, which means you'll streamline, you'll make more money, because they always say, you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. And I totally relate to that, because the more you got on your plate, the more efficient you become, or you should be, or you'll learn to be if you stay busy enough, because there's really no other way to get all that stuff done. There's no way to accomplish much unless you just get organized and start, thinking it through. And, the problems you encounter, you'll figure out a better way to do it, because you start to go, man, there's got to be a better way. And there always is. In fact, there was an invention, golly, I'm always impressed when you see such a simple invention take off, like the Ring doorbell. That's a big one. That's a big one. And there's something else that was really simple I just saw recently. Just absolutely blows my mind. But it's taking. Yeah, that actually I saw something too, real simple. This actually is an inventor that actually contacted me about a new invention he had. He was looking, Anyhow, one of the things that this guy had produced, or maybe it was his uncle that produced it. He was reaching out maybe for his uncle. But it was really a cool thing. What he made was, if you've ever seen a tie, what do they call it? A plastic zip tie. Well, this guy basically had a zip tie that was about 2 or 3 feet long, but it wasn't a zip tie, but that's what it looked like. It looked like a zip tie, and it had jagged edges. It looked like a saw, like it had saw tooths on both sides, but the tooths were all, up. And it was the coolest thing, because what you do with this is you shove it down your drain. It goes down, it follows the trap, it goes back, it turns, and all the way back in the wall. As much as 3 feet will reach. And then you just pull it back, and it grabs every hair or whatever's in there. But the bottom line, it unclogs the drain like that. Just you jam it through, pull it, you pull out all this nasty stuff, and all of a sudden everything's more efficient. But that's a guy that was having a problem trying to fix something, and realized, hey, you know what, I could do this. And like I said, it's you stumble onto ideas like that by trying to solve problems. And that's the best money there is solving a problem. That's one of the things I actually did real well. About 20 years ago, I was getting bored, because I'd buy real estate, and then I'd be broke, and then I'd manage my property, and maybe I'm always looking for deals, of course, but sometimes I'd find, some deals I couldn't afford till I was gonna, flip something I had, or I was busy working on what I had. And so as a result, I found a company that was kind of going out of business, and they weren't doing a great job, and they'd actually burned a lot of bridges. And so anyways, but they had kind of a cool little contraption, so I reached out to them and said, hey, can I buy the company from you? And they said, well, sure, we're going out of business anyways. I said, okay. So we made a deal, and I bought this little company. And it wasn't long after I bought it, the company, on the front cover of a small trade magazine, it said, don't buy from the company I just bought. Now, it wasn't a big deal because I bought it for a song, and I really bought it for the technology. So I go, well, I guess I'm not going to use that name. So I created a new name and just started making this little contraption they had that solved a problem. And as a result, I started getting feedback from other people in this business that they wanted a similar contraption for another device. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And so I said, well, I'm working on one. 'Cause I am now, since I asked for it. But I started realizing more and more people were asking for this. So I dug in, and I figured out that it could be done. It required expertise beyond mine, okay? It required an electrical engineer, double E we call him, a really good one. And so I set out to hire a double E, and I hired one, and then they quit. And first I went to him and I said, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I'm looking at this book and, this manual on this device, and it looks like we could make this happen, as far as I can tell. But it requires, and he looks at the pages that I pulled out of these manuals, and he said, you know what? He goes, yeah, you're right. I think you can make it work. And I said, okay. I said, well, that's what I want to hire you to do. Make that work. Make that do what I want it to do. So I had a couple different engineers kind of work on it for a while, but they decided they're busy, and then they quit or for whatever reason. And then finally I had a guy, I was like, man, I want to get this done, because I was getting a list of people. I told him I was making this thing, and I was really just trying to figure out if it could be made. And I wouldn't have much success, but I kept making the mail list. This is back in 1995. So I'm getting emails, and I'm creating an email list. And back in 1995, internet was very small. And so I kept after people with the emails, and kept getting more and more. This engineer in this other coffee shop, I was sat down, I was kind of playing with this device, and he's looking over at me. He says, oh, what did you got there? And I told him what I was doing, and he said, yeah, I got a double E working on. He's having trouble. He goes, well, hey, I'm a double E. I go, man, I want to get this done. I said, this guy's close, but I think he's going to quit because he's getting tired. I said, I'll give you $1,000 if you can help him get to, the finish line here. And I explained what it was. And he said, sure, I'll try. I said, I'll give you $1,000. I said, I don't care if you get it done in an hour or you get it done in, a week, whatever. I'll give you $1,000. And so he said, okay. And so give me his number. So he called my engineer. I'm just sitting down about to have a beer. And I get a phone call. Hey, we got it working. That same night after I talked to him that morning. And so I was like, really? That's fantastic. And I zip over to the house and looking at some bundle of wires and a knob, and and I see that it's doing the function that I'd hoped it would do. And I realized, oh yeah, this is great. I'm gonna make some money on this too. And so I ran with it and made these devices, and they started selling quite well, and I have patents on it and stuff. But it was funny because it was my real estate money that led me to the opportunity. In other words, I had the money that I'd made from real estate was like how I started funding stuff. And it's kind of usually the other way around. Usually, you have a company that you get money, and and then it kind of funds your real estate. Well, now I'm just the opposite. I'm taking my real estate money and I'm funding this investment with what I considered a company and a new device, and it did really well. It did really well. And but you're not limited to what you can do. You really there's no limitation. You can do anything. You really can do anything. And there's you just look around. I mean, you can look at politicians that are just so stupid and so inept, but there they are in that position of power. There's this old saying, ignorance is basically no roadblock to elected office. And I always thought, yeah, that's got to be true, because I've heard people that are just so stupid and inept say the dumbest thing, and there's no shame in government either. I don't want to get too much on this, but so when you see people like that in a position of power, I mean, you just realize, oh my gosh, you know, and not that they invented anything. That's the worst thing about politicians. They don't really invent anything. They don't, you know, the stuff, usually they just create bureaucracy. That's what they're good at. So anyways, but back on working hard and saving. So, you know, the point is, you know, if you work and you save, if that's all you do, you ain't got time to spend your money. You haven't really got time to spend your money. And then dreaming, as your bank account grows, and I don't even care if we're talking about hundreds, okay? It might be hundreds of dollars we're talking about. It's still a bigger seed to begin with. It's still a bigger, it's a bigger nest to, you know, that you can build from and build upon. And so, you know, never give up, and never feel like, I mean, things can happen so fast and change so quickly, and you can make so much money so fast that it's just crazy to ever feel like, oh, you know what, I'm never going to make it. I just don't have any money. I'm never going to get there. It's a defeatist attitude. And I mean, it may be convenient. Some people just throw their arms up because it's an excuse not to try. That's not me. And I hope it's not you. You don't want to be that guy that just says, you know, not that I give up. I'm not even going to try because it's so hard. It's not hard. It's not hard. Like I said, when it comes to, you know, flipping things especially, and that's why I talk about flipping things, real estate, whatever, it's about the deal. And I've said it, you know, a million times now. It's all about the deal. But you got to be tenacious. You got to work hard. You cannot give up. You have to just, you know, be relentless in your pursuit. And, you know, it's like me. I try. I mean, I look at things. I'm not afraid of anything new. And I'm not afraid of change either. You know, there's some things that, you know, like, this sucks. I don't really want this to happen. But you know what? I'm not going to fight it. It's going to happen. And roll with it, because, you know, I can say more times than not, I just have always been glad for any change, that even when it seemed like, this could, you know, not be great. You know what I mean? I see the upside to it, and I start to see opportunity in it, and I reap those opportunities. You know what they say like, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Man, it's real. It's true. You know, and that's another thing. I love the old sayings, things that have lasted time. You know, just have never faded away, and but you know, like that, make lemonade from lemons. You know, when life hands you lemons, and any old saying like that. And I should just get a book of old sayings and just review them sometime with everybody, because what it tells you is that some things never change. And you know, there's a book, As a Man Thinketh. Love that book, written over 200 years ago. I think it's by James Allen. If you don't have this book, I urge you to get it. I really urge you to get it. It's a book that you can read in about 20 minutes. Really, it's that small, and it's that simple. And you know, it was written quite well and long ago, and simple, but it's so interesting, because, you know, I don't know about you folks, but I have a terrible I mean, I can concentrate on some things intently. That's all I can think about. But when it comes to reading, I mean, I'm distracted. I mean, I have to read everything, you know, minimum twice. If it's one paragraph, I got to read it twice. If it's, you know, a page, I might have to read it 3 or 4 times, because I miss so much. I'm reading, and I don't stop reading, but I do stop registering, and I start thinking about other stuff. And then I'm going all the way to the end. I'm like, what did I just read? So, talk about having a learning disability. I don't know if anybody has one worse than me, because I have a very hard time comprehending reading, unless it really gets my, you know, if I'm hanging on every word, no problem. I mean, I'm into it. And this kind of goes to what I say, you know, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. And, you know, there's some things, though, you learn that, you know what, maybe you don't know you want it, or it's just kind of difficult, but man, you just gotta be relentless. Read, reread, reread, reread. You will get it. Practice makes perfect. There's another old saying, right? Practice makes perfect, and it does. And that kind of goes to what I tell you about, you know, bird dogging and looking at things, you know. And like, I got an app. I'm about $300,000 deep in now. It's a lot of money. I didn't expect to spend this much, and I'm still spending more. But but it's been 2 years I've been spending the money on, and I feel even more excited about it today than the day I started, you know, two years ago. And so, you know, the passion just keeps growing. And I got this thing done, but I got to redo it again because I'm not happy with it. And I'll share more about that down the road. It's going to be really great. But also, I have another app. See, isn't that bad enough? I have another app I'm also working on. And actually, I have 2 more apps. But I got one that I'm going to share with everybody here. And anybody that's a subscriber, I'm going to give it to free. So please subscribe. And please get on my Twitter. Please get on my Twitter because I'm using that to help promote this. And anyways, if you can share that out, then, you know, hey, the more the merrier. Another old saying, the more the merrier, and that's true too. So that's funny. It's already got 3 down now, but just not even. If I was trying to think of those, I would have never thought of them. But they just come up in this conversation. But so you know, and the other one, I said it the other day. So now we're up to 4. The harder I work, the luckier I get. That rings so true. Work hard, save money. And believe me, you will be lucky. You will be lucky. It won't be luck. It'll be because you made it happen. But what's happened is you get lucky breaks along the way. But those breaks, you can't really attribute it all to luck because the break you're getting is only because you are trying something new over and over and digging and always going at it, going after it. And so you can't call it luck. You know, it's like they'll say actors, they'll go, you know, all of a sudden they're an overnight success. Well, what you don't see is that they've been auditioning for the last 15, 20 years, some of them, before they hit it, you know. And so our bands, a lot of guys, you know, fantastic musicians. I've always been impressed with. I mean, I love music. I don't love it as much as some people, but I do like music a lot, and I can appreciate the talent. You know, I think how amazing to sit there and sing and entertain people just with your voice. It's fantastic. I can't do it, but or playing guitar, you know, unbelievably well. And but I've had different tenants that do it, and man, I've seen them struggle and tough, and there's a lot of talented musicians. But, you know, they, like I say, then one day they get their big break, and, you know, they're off. But, you know, but also they love it, and you should always do what you love. I mean, if you love what you do, that's your hedge against, even if you don't have success. If you love what you do, you know what, at least you're doing what you love while you're working. And a lot of actors fall into that category, a lot of musicians fall into that category, and a lot of times, you know, what they're missing is just one little element, which is usually marketing, to be quite honest. And so if you are a musician or that, I mean, read about marketing, just and persistence. Never stop. You have to drop your card. You have to, you know, and if you're in business, really, it's all about business too. I mean, you got to get yourself in front of people. And I don't care if you're marketing yourself or looking for deals, you know, you got to always get out there. I mean, really, people, you know, that's why I started my little video blog here, is so many people come to me and ask me, how do I do it? How do I do it? And I say, man, it's not that exciting. It's basic math, and it's working hard. You got to work hard. And, you know, I mean, that may end up being half my videos. You know what? It's just telling people work hard and stay on topic, and don't, you know, you can't let yourself get too distracted. You know, you have to concentrate somewhat on, you know, consistently looking for property or consistently looking for deals. But as you look for deals and as you look for property or whatever, in business, if you're in business, I don't care what kind of business you are, you know, by whatever your situation is, you know that you can, you know, there's things you can do to get more business. You know, I enjoy talking to people, and when I'm making a sales pitch to, you know, on a product I have, you know, sometimes I'd be at a convention, you know, I get people in, you know. I'm a big fan of Ron Popeil. He's got some great stories about when he was a young man, and, you know, and like him, I've utilized some of his input. Like when I got a crowd going, I get a crowd going, number one. I try to engage them, I get them going there, and then now I've talked to them, I've made my pitch, now it's time for them to buy. Well, then they start to go off to buy, and then maybe a couple people that are at the counter that are buying, I'll hang on to them and I'll say, hey, I got something else to show you. And then they come over, and now I got these 3 or 4 people that had already bought something. Now they got my product in their hand, and they're standing there because I'm going to tell them something else. Well, now I start talking to them about something kind of interesting, and now people are walking by, people that haven't been in and that I haven't talked to yet, they're going, hey, this guy's talking, and there's people, you know, they see me talking to just a few people, but more and more are coming because I say, hey, after you buy this, come talk to me. And so I start going to, people start walking up to me that I've already captured and got the you know, the conversation rolling with. And now some have my product in their hands. And so the new people that are walking by, they see that they can get in closer to me because there's not as much of a crowd. And they see these people that have devices in their hands, so they're more curious about what's that guy got, what's that guy selling, and so what it does is by recapturing those people, it kind of shows interest. In fact, I got to tell you, remember, Wurst Kusha means hot dog kitchen, so don't let me forget that. Bring it up if I ever do. So. So people start seeing that, and then I build on that crowd again, and then I do the same thing, and then the people that are in the front, I tell them, I finish my little story on that, they're dispersed, and then I get into the next subject about buy this product, why it's so great, send them to the counter, and just, you know, rinse and repeat, same thing, and build those folks up. Well, Wurst Kusha is a kid here in Venice, nearby here in Venice, California. There's or Santa Monica maybe. It's called Wurst Kusha Hot Dog Kitchen. Well, what they did is, when you go into the door of this place into order, I mean, they can't fit but a few people inside from where the cash register is. You go in and you order your hot dog and your beer, and then you go in, and it's a big place, plenty of places to sit. But they were smart. They put the cash register and started the line like right next to the door. So it doesn't take but, you know, 5 people in line. Now the door's open, and somebody's standing there in line, and you know what I mean? So as you're driving by, you're going, yeah, I wonder if that place is good. And you're going, gee, well, I got a line. I got a line coming out the door. Even though the line's 5, you interpret the line to be much longer because you assume there's, you know, maybe 10 or 20 feet inside, right? So those are things that you can apply. Those are kinds of things that you may think of. You may think of on your own, you know, but it's that kind of thinking that's clever. And I've done a lot of that. I've done a lot of tips and tricks. I'm sharing some of them with you on the deals that I've done, and I'll share everything that comes to mind that I think would be, you know, of use to you. But those are some pretty neat little examples. And so Ron Popeil's book, if you know, he's got like something, the Greatest Salesman or something. Actually, that's another book, Greatest Salesman in the World, but that's not Ron Popeil. Ron Popeil's got a book out there, though, anyways. Probably the only one he's got. So you can look at that one. And As a Man Thinketh, old book, great information. And then, but like I say, you know, think of the things that motivate you and get you going. Keep those close to you, because that will, you know, you got to be a self-motivator, and that can mean, you know, I mean, you got to do it by yourself. Now that might mean reading or watching, you know, my video. If that helps you, that's great. But draw power from the guys that you watch that you know you want to emulate. You want to be like them, and because that's what you want. I don't care if it's a guy that knows how to play guitar. You want to play guitar. If you want to get in fit, you know, I think it was Mark Wahlberg talked about, yeah, nobody's going to train me that isn't in better shape. You know, he said, I don't want to hear what anybody's got to say about training unless they're in better shape than me. It makes sense, right? You want you don't want to, you know, it's hard to trust anybody, you know. I mean, you know, that's going to train you unless they've got credibility. And that's kind of what he was talking about. They got to have credibility. And like a trainer, if the guy's not in great shape that's teaching you, then you know what? You know, do you want a guy with a pot belly to, you know, teach you how to get in shape and get skinny? I don't think so. He may know, but I kind of want the guy that has the secrets for maintaining it too, you know. So anyways, we've been talking about 25 minutes. I gotta go make sure they get rolling here pretty soon because I got a flight in about an hour and 40 minutes. So I better get. So, hey, anyways, Flip Anything USA. Please share, subscribe, and, hope everybody had a great 4th of July. Thanks for watching. And please join my Twitter. Yeah, have a good day.